All right, we have another student. His name's Devin. He's a pretty fast sea rider. So we're gonna work on some more technical broken down stuff. For example, he's gonna come through here in a second, but we have a decent sized jump in the middle of the track here and then these braking bumps into a corner. We're gonna watch how we execute these braking bumps, and then we'll see if we can make him get through this section a little bit smoother. Because you can see, I don't know if the camera does justice, but those holes are starting to get kind of big to where it makes the bike become pretty darn active. When the bike's super active and you're at high speeds, it kind of gives it a little bit of kick going on. He's number 63, by the way. That was a pretty good session. We land off throttle. Now a lot of people brake through those braking bumps. Braking bumps form when people are braking there, obviously, right? So it creates those big bumps, and the more those bumps grow, and the more people use the rear brake on them, it makes it harder to execute and make it smoothly. We're gonna have him go one more time here. The trick is, and I'll explain this to him once he gets off, but the trick is to either brake earlier so we can be off the brakes through the bumps, or stay off the brakes and then be accelerating through the bumps or off throttle through the bumps and then brake after the fact. We want to start braking in zones that people aren't braking. Kind of change up the flow a little bit. It might make your entry speed a little bit slower, might make it a little bit faster. It just depends on how we execute it. So I'm going to go through one more time here, see what it looks like. All right, that was pretty darn good. What percentage of brakes were you using through that area?
I wasn't using brakes until it was down.
Okay, here. Perfect. So you were off brakes.
Just kind of coasting.
Until after the bumps, which is perfect. So to make that even smoother and even a little bit faster so the bike doesn't have that big impact on those bumps, I want you to come over this jump, accelerate heavy on landing, but unload the bike. So when you do that heavy acceleration on landing, it's gonna help push the bike faster. Then I want you to lift throttle. It's gonna make the bike kind of elevate a little bit over those bumps and you'll glide over them. Do the same exact braking zone you did, because that's perfect. I just told the camera, you wanna pick points that the braking bumps aren't at, right? So the bumps will form because people are braking there. Pick a different spot. Because now when you brake in those bumps, it's just gonna make the bike react really negatively, and it's gonna slow you down a lot, possibly create some kicking going on. So come with that, get a little more aggression in the air with a rev, hit the ground with the rev, and then off throttle, let the bike lighten up, coast over those bumps, and then brake.
So if I'm in fourth gear coming through this section, do you want me to shift down to third? In the air like I've been doing? Or?
Try it both. So try staying in fourth with that acceleration, and then after you do the bumps, then get your downshift. Okay? Because the taller gear will also help the bike be a little bit smoother and not react as much as well. Okay? So try with fourth, and if that doesn't work out very well, then maybe get a downshift in the air. You might need even more throttle upon landing in third gear. Okay? So experiment with that a little bit. All right, we're gonna have them come around here. This maneuver can be a little bit intimidating because you're landing with more acceleration than you have been, and you're coming into some pretty big bumps. So let's see how he tackles this. If you can get it smoothly, it makes a big difference. But also you gotta be ready to brake kind of aggressively after. All right, not bad. I don't know if the camera picked it up, but he had a really light acceleration when he landed. I want a little bit more. And it could even be right a couple feet before those bumps just to get the bike to pick up. Hopefully the camera does justice on this, but that seemed pretty darn smooth. All right, I imagine he's gonna come through and do a downshift to third in the air and do the same thing. It might be a little more noticeable with being in third gear. You hear the bike rev up a little bit more. That was actually pretty good, but you could tell, of course you can't see his braking foot, but once he got on the gas, it's almost like he hit the brakes right away. So he's got to trust that lightening of the bike, and he has so much room here to work with that we can use that momentum to kind of push into the berm, kind of stay in it a little bit better instead of having to hit the brakes that aggressively. Which one felt better for you?
Second one.
Second one. Okay, so with that second one, do that exact same thing, but don't hit the brakes as quick as you did. You gassed it, the bike lightened up, but then you hit the brakes almost right after you did that. Trust the room you have here and work with it. So do that exact acceleration pop, that was spot on, but just carry no brakes until, hopefully I don't get hit. Carry no brakes until this point. Try to brake a little bit less. You have a lot of room to work with in this berm. Just continue to let your momentum roll forward and continue to pull your eyes farther ahead. That's gonna help you connect it. What's happening is I think you're kind of focusing on the middle part of the corner here, so you're having to stop to where you're comfortable, and then you get back on the gas. Let that flow happen naturally, but with moving those eyes really fast through this corner. Okay? That wasn't bad. We're still not scanning those eyes far enough ahead, which is making them have to like really come to a stop right in that middle part of the corner. Now KTM actually just did a good job at maintaining roll speed. We want him to try to do the same exact thing. The camera does justice, but realistically, the ideal line would be avoiding those bumps altogether. Right now I'm having to work through these bumps just to get the skill down, and then I'm gonna point out the alternate line he can take here, which is just missing those bumps, which will make this whole section a lot smoother. No bumps, more speed, better connection. So let's see if he can execute the bumps in this corner better after the fact. And then we'll give him a little cheat line. Alright, what we noticed when he hit the bumps that time is he let the bike kind of load up and he kind of crunched into the bike. So he needs to stay nice and strong and deep in his attack position to help the bike push through that stuff. I just informed him to stay nice and deep in his attack position so he can stay connected to the bike and float with the bike. The problem is he comes to an upright standing position, so he's like a weight driving into the bike and he's not allowing the bike to kind of float up into him. So let's see if he can keep that nice 90-degree bend in the elbows and stay nice and low with this attack position. Yeah, not bad. We can work with it. We can still find some more aggression in it, but I think we can move on from that. What I just want you to realize with those bumps is that can happen on big downhills, like let's say Millville. Let the bike be light and maybe apply throttle at certain points, okay? So that's a good skill to have in the back pocket when the track starts getting rough. Try to float with the bike rather than being a weight driving into the bike. And that's what happens when you stand a little too tall. You're just, all your weight's driving into the foot pegs, you're just pushing the bike down rather than letting it come up with you. Okay. Does that make sense? Yep. In real life situations, I would try to avoid those altogether. And there's, just to the left, there's a line that I want you to get into. So you can easily set yourself up in the air. When you land, just kind of slot the bike into the left there and it'll be a lot smoother, no bump at all. Try to brake as late as possible, okay? So typically we like to brake earlier, right? But if you brake in that same spot, now you're trying to funnel into a line and hit the brakes at the same time. The bike's not gonna wanna do that. So stay off the brakes so that bike can stay locked into that line and then slightly push the brakes into this corner and figure out that flow, okay? So let's see you hit that outside line and connect that a little bit better. All right. Once you do that, we're gonna figure out a different line for this jump here. You'll be gonna avoid these bumps altogether with this nice little line forming up right to the left, rider's left. All right, not bad. So much smoother, nice speed there. Now we can see in this next section, he's a little bit hesitant in these ruts. You can't really see them, but there's ruts on the bottom here before this transition to the lip. So we gotta work on that next. But that was a lot better with this. I think we can get him a little bit farther over so he can funnel into that line better. He was just to the right of it and kind of just slotted in a little bit too late. Other than that, that was not bad. That was good.
It was so good.
Way smoother.